welcome to the first edition of Pack Talking with just Ben and I. We're going to be discussing the loss of Dorian and the loss, period, in general.
And that's the loss of Dorian in the podcast. Not
Yes, not in life, not in life. No,
not in
just
life, not in our relationship with them either.
no. Of course
Yeah.
not. No, yeah. No, just well, I'll explain from the way I got it, what I understood, and you can explain why you think your understanding is, and we'll explain why we believe Dorian has decided to leave. In my opinion, Dorian, or at least from what I understand, his opinion was that there were some technical difficulties with like cameras and microphones and stuff that he wasn't very proud of. I guess he didn't want to put his name on the podcast for that reason. That was one of the reasons he gave, and another was that he felt that that I was not working hard enough on it, I guess, to some degree, that I wasn't checking to be the best interviewer of people. And maybe I probably wasn't, so I took that as some data to maybe be better at, because we know that Dorian likes to really deep dive into whoever is going to be on the podcast. And I was more worried about the other technical aspects of the podcast, getting the guest and rewatching the episodes and editing and placing stuff. And I wasn't disciplined enough to really deep dive into our guests. I feel like I tried to, but I guess maybe Dorian was a little more deep diver than I was. And I think that he took a little bit of offense that I wasn't as hard into it as he was. But I feel that I was working super hard to do stuff to make sure that the podcast was going and stuff, and he was doing his own thing. So I think we're both working really hard, or all three of us are working hard to make sure that this podcast is the best it possibly can be. But ultimately, I don't feel he was satisfied and wanted to put his name on the product. And I don't want anybody to put their name on a product that they don't think is worthy of their name. And so for those reasons, we decided to part ways. Nothing but love, nothing but affection. He was just over at my house this last weekend helping me out. We had an event here. And he watched the dogs while Carly and I participated in an energy event, which had a psychic reading for us. And yeah, so it's nothing but love for Dorian. It's just that we were just in different spots at this time, and I think he's going to go on and do great things, and so are we. And it's all love. What do you think? Do you have any opinion on that, Ben?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, how I really feel is that he's not here, so I guess I could give you my opinion on why I think he left. But I think Dorian left just because for this part of the podcast or this length of the learning curve, he just didn't want to be a part of. I think it was just costing him a lot of money to kind of stop his day and do. I just think logistically, it was a hard time for him to commit to doing this and understand that we're in a learning curve right now too is I think part of it. But ultimately, I just think that, like you said, it was just that there is that I would say the best way to say is that why is Dorian not on the podcast anymore? Because I'd say he's a busy man. He is really trying to do what he thinks is best for dogs, himself, and his family. So that's how I look at it. Regardless of why or the technical reasons of why, is that he just has a different plan. At least at this leg of the race and where we're at with this, he didn't want to join that plan. I think if down the road it becomes more appealing to him, it may be a great time that maybe that we would want him back. It'd be appealing to us to have him back, maybe.
I
But
he's always welcome back. I have
you see what I'm saying?
nothing but
So
love for Dorian.
yeah,
You
so
know.
I just think we just give. I just think it's the reason Dorian left because this is just is not part of his process. You know what I mean? Of him
Yeah.
going through his life. He doesn't want to deal with where we're at with it, and that's okay. I completely understand that. It's like anybody doing any type of business with each other. You know, do you have it on
Grow.
shelves
There's
yet?
growing pains. There are
Yeah,
growing pains, and
yeah, that's okay.
they're not always the most comfortable. But
No,
to get to where you really want to be, you can't avoid the growing pains. That's
no.
my thing. So,
But
you
you
know,
but you can choose to not want to though. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying you have to grow. You said it earlier in another podcast. Growth is optional,
Yeah,
right?
I have clients that I'll tell them like through the phone their issues and problems, and it's at an intervention type situation with the dog, and I'll say, hey, I just want to give you an idea. Like this is what this training looks like. I can tell over the phone and kind of how you're explaining the problem to me that this, not to say bringing a kennel back into the dog's life will be an issue, and if you can't do this, then we shouldn't book the consultation. It's not going to be based off of the skill sets of me showing you how to deal with your dog biting with people or attacking the dog it lives with, etc. So if you do this and you let us know that you're doing this, then we can book the consultation. And I should probably
Yeah.
do things like that more often with people. Give them a
So
little.
if you're basically saying like a dog that bites, you would have the owner work on putting the muzzle first, so that when you go in, the dog is kind of muzzle trained to a
Yeah,
degree. Is that
I've done that many
another
times.
example of something you'd be?
There was one time ever I turned a dog away, and it was because of this white German Shepherd. Don't need to go into it. Very long story, but the people were very adamant about starting, and I was very adamant about exactly what he said. That okay, I'll start it, and I'll help get this dog to where it needs to be. But you have to do. I have to be able to grab this dog. I have to be able to put a muzzle on this dog, and it
Safety.
was a very very intense kitchen situation. And I could do it without the person conditioning, obviously them with the muzzle, but this dog was so much work, and this was like 2 months after a consultation. They finally wanted the board and training. They didn't even follow through with anything. They haven't been
Mm,
putting the muzzle on since 2 months ago. And then they brought
yeah.
that dog for just our day training program. And I work with dogs like that day training because there's a muzzle on. Um, but the dog he goes, yeah, we've never been able to do the muzzle. And the long story short is I had to turn those people away. I think it was Frida's first week at work. Crazy
Mm.
white German Shepherd coming in, trying to kill us through the gate, and I turned away right there.
Yeah, safety is the number one thing, dude. You got to be safe. You got to have the people around you safe. As any pack leader knows, direction and protection are two things. So we got to make sure that our entire packs are safe. And if somebody or something is not congruent with that, we have to make sure that we advocate for our pack and ourselves. And yeah, so it's part of the process. Sometimes you have to turn people away, or people have to turn us away so that they'll be in a certain spot in their lives. When they're ready, they'll be ready. When the universe is going to make you do the same lessons until you basically learn them.
That's the
So
consequence.
one way or another, you're gonna learn the lesson. So whether you want to do it now or you want to do it later, you'll
Or
figure
you
it out.
don't. Or you
Or you
don't. You
don't,
just
or
get
you
the
don't. And that
consequence.
lesson, but the consequence of not learning that lesson will keep presenting itself. At
Yeah.
least that's what I found in this universe.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I would make sure to try to, when things keep coming up, maybe it's God, the universe, source, energy, whatever, saying, hey, maybe you need to confront this problem in your life, and yeah, that's what we all need to do. Um, Also, I believe you were 100% correct in the fact that Dorian has a thriving business, and to basically cut away from it in the middle of a working day every other week it's a lot. So that, I believe, is another reason why he left the podcast.
Yeah.
And but he's always welcome back. We have nothing but love for D. We will always have nothing but love for D. And yeah,
Hey.
I know. I wore yours today just because I want solidarity of my boy Ben.
Hey, hey,
And
that's the old school logo. I gotta get you some
no,
new merch.
I don't have the new one yet. I need to get one of those new ones.
Got
Next time when I buy some leashes, we have to.
oh, you can't buy them yet. They're not up yet. I'm trying to land on how I present on a shirt, but yes, yeah, we'll get you a shirt. Don't you worry about
Yeah,
that.
we might have to get two because Carly will be upset if I have one and she doesn't. You know
She has to buy one though.
that. I'll let her know you said that.
Good.
Um, also, so I want to address the fact that Dorian left the podcast and we had another podcast with Todd already booked. So we ended up filming the podcast with Dorian, without Dorian, with Todd before we're filming this one. And when we filmed the Todd episode, Apollo was still with us. And after that, we ended up having to put him down. And so he's not here in this episode, even though we're going to drop this episode before we drop the Todd episode, because I want to explain the Dorian absence with a full, like,
You know how long,
moment.
but you know how long ago it's been too. Is that Todd's episode was 2 days before Kota. That's why we didn't do Todd for so long.
It was 2 days after Kota, right?
Yeah,
Because, yeah, we
yeah. Todd's was 2 day after. I was saying he died 2 days prior. That's why we didn't do that.
Yeah,
His
we postponed Todd for 2 weeks. And in that time, Dorian told me he was leaving the podcast, and I had already had Todd set up. So we ended up filming with Todd and Apollo. Kota had already passed.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about loss, the loss of Apollo and the loss of Kota, and how we deal with it, how we are there for each other, and yeah, just moving on. Not getting stuck in the mire and the muck. Like we've discussed it before with the Andre episode when he was discussing losing a pack member. But yeah, I think we should explore those topics again because every single dog owner deals with it at one point.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah. Hey, just give me 1 second here.
Of course. Oilings.
I said to close this window. It started raining. I don't know if that window should be open, but yeah, you can go first if you want to, Bobby. I don't know if it's uh,
About loss?
yeah, but
Yeah.
I can talk about Coda or what's crazy is that it's so like we had Dorian before. We had Dorian on the podcast, Coda, Apollo, everyone was alive, and then we booked Todd, and then Dorian left us, and then Coda, and then we filmed Todd's episode, and then Apollo passed, and here we are today. That seems like the right chain of events, right? Or the
It is.
yeah,
It seems like it's been longer than it has been too,
or
doesn't
like
it?
reverse, or like something crazy. I don't know. It
What do you
was.
mean? How in reverse would you say it?
I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. It just seems. I'm just.
Like it's passed really quickly or that it's taken a long time?
I don't know. I
From
just don't know. I don't know. I feel indifferent about it. I don't know. Not indifferent, but like it just feels like it wasn't we should have filmed this episode. And, it's not nothing that we did wrong, but just if we'd have filmed this episode, Coda probably would have been alive. So I was
mm,
thinking.
I don't think that would be the case.
No, I'm saying he would have been alive during this episode. You see, that's because it was
Okay.
before Todd's.
Yeah. Well, it happened for a reason the
It
way
happened
it
for a
happened,
reason. That's
though.
right.
It
Yeah,
it really
that's the one thing I would say about loss, especially. Yeah, I'll just say this about loss is that it doesn't happen when you want it to, or how you want it to, and
yeah. Well, think about it. No one's ever going to want loss. So we would never experience loss if it only came when we wanted it or when we were ready. There would be far less loss in the world.
I guess you still planning for loss though is is probably the best thing to do, and you can do it to some degree. That's like just even practicing gratitude daily with your dog, even when they're 6 months old, a year old. because you really never know when you have another day.
Yeah. No, that's why I would do that mantra every day with all my dogs, basically. It's, I would say one day this flesh will pass. Yours, mine, everybody's. No one's getting out of here alive. But what will never pass, dude, is love, bro. Love is eternal. Love cannot be broken. Love is, you know what I mean? It's here. It's tangible, but you can't touch it. It's amazing. It's you can feel it when someone loves you, but you couldn't grab it, but it's there. You
It's
know what
like
I mean?
faith. It's like I feel like that's one of the things that give people faith is love.
Mm-hmm.
Over
Faith,
the
hope.
rainbow bridge, heaven, all of that is this based off of love.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
There was I don't know if I sent it to you, but I definitely sent it to Dorian. There's a like this professor speaking about the Aztec afterlife. And it shows like there's like all these different realms to the afterlife, but there's a specific part called like the land of the dogs, where any dog you've ever had in your life helps you cross this river that you have to get across the river. And any animal actually that you've ever really like communed with and been connected to is there waiting, that's passed, is there waiting for you to help you across. And if you don't never had any dogs or were cruel to animals, you have no one there to help you. You have to cross it by yourself, which I don't know, it's kind of a beautiful like thought process that, when we're there for them when they need us, and then they're there for us when we need them. They help us cross after we've helped them cross. And it's just a beautiful thing. And I don't wish for death by any means, but I'll tell you what, man, the minute I am gone and I get to see Reg and Apollo again, I'll be pretty happy about that.
Isn't that see that's where that stage of grief becomes hard, just where you're like, yeah, I'd think those same things. I'd be like, you don't want to die, obviously, but or I'm not definitely not
Exactly.
suicidal by any means, but you're like, I definitely sit with more comfort knowing that when I pass, that is what will
They're
be
there
once
for
again.
us. Yeah. Well, that energy will be reconnected. It's a beautiful feeling to know that, because like I said, energy and love, they're like eternal. There's a fundamental law of physics, which is basically energy can never be created nor destroyed, only transferred from one source to like another, basically. So when we die, we're all we are is energy and matter. The energy is just repurposed somewhere. It's never lost. This matter, if it fades away, it goes to the worms or whatever it is. But the energy, that's eternal. And the love is a form of energy. So I think
Yeah, that's that's the part where when my dog died and was not planned for, obviously. That's the part where I felt like I got ripped right in half.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Um I although I was kind of expecting it a little bit more with Apollo, because he has had all the trouble. He went to the hospital 3 times, and he was basically had health slides, where after the third, when we were bringing him the third time to the hospital, he always would go with anybody. Like the one thing I know is Apollo was just so gregarious with people that he had no separation anxiety with me. He would just walk off with the first stranger that gave him love. And the third time we took him to the hospital, he was pulling back, trying to get back to Carly, because Carly had taken him. And she's like, he just doesn't want to go back there anymore. He doesn't want to deal with it. And we got him back to health at that point. And then when he came home, we agreed that if he slid again, we would before he fell into that pain, that that we would do right by him, and it sucked.
Yeah.
But I I know I did the right thing because I just didn't want to see him in pain. You know, I just can't
I,
I
I,
can't
I'm,
let
I know I'm upset my dog passed, but I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
yeah. It's the hardest fucking decision we'll ever make. You know what I mean? It's your best friend, someone that was for Reg. She was here for 14 years, and I was like 45. That's a third of my life. 46 years old, whatever. You know, like it's a lot. It's a lot of time, and it's like the bond is so strong, and it hurts, dude. It fucking hurts, man. But to know that we will be reunited, our energies will be reconnected. There's a solace in that I can find comfort in, and um, it's just I don't know. Carly, Carly is a woo woo person. Just like I've mentioned, we had a psychic event or an energy seminar at my house, and when Carly went to another psychic yesterday, and she's like, I'm like, so what did the psychic tell you? And she's like, well, first thing she said was Reg came in and she was running around the room like a wild dog, crazy, and the psychic's like, well, there's a shepherd cattle dog in here, kind of all excited, running around and coming up and licking you, and like, do you know that dog? And she's like, oh yeah, that's Reg, and when she told me that, it just made me start bawling, like so excited. And she's like, yeah, but Apollo didn't come. And I'm like, oh, I wonder why Apollo didn't come in. And she's like, he's not done on this earth. He's already in another body with another family helping out. Reg was done. That's what she said. Reg was like, she had accomplished her mission. And that's a beautiful thing because she changed my life. Like everything that needed to be done with her had been accomplished. So it was okay for her to go on. Apollo, I think, wasn't ready. He still had a lot of energy and stuff. You know what I mean? He was only 6.5, but I just couldn't let him slide like that again. It was just too painful. And I'm wondering, am I keeping him here for me or am I doing it for him? And I felt I was being selfish and it was more for me than it was for him. So that's what guided my decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That dang dog Kota. I don't think I can.
She was your change. She changed you. Or he changed you. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't even think I can talk about it.
It's okay. Talk about what you can and what you can't. You just, I think everybody watching knows, bro, because we all are experiencing dogs together. That's the only reason you're watching this podcast. So we all know that that day is not good, dude. But I
Yeah,
think
I think the hardest part too is, and that's what I definitely want to say today. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go super deep into my dog right now, but I will tell everyone how he passed because
bread, bread, bread. I'd like to hear the story. I think everyone needs to hear the story as well, and I
yeah, it's
think you need
important.
to say it
I just gotta catch my
because I
breath here
think
for a second.
I think when you express it, it's going to help a lot of people out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you're holding on
Let me
to
get a
this.
glass of water here.
Of course, I think you're holding on to a bit of guilt, though, that I don't think you should feel.
1 second here, pal.
Of course. Yeah, take your time.
I gotta get a drink. Yeah, I got guilt.
Yeah, I know you do. And you will let that guilt go when you're ready to, but I'm here to tell you you did nothing wrong, man. You did everything right, bro. There's
I know.
nothing wrong happened on your part. It was just meant to happen when it happened. And it's not about our time schedule, bro. It's something bigger than us at work here, you know? And unfortunately, it's when it needs to happen, not when we want it to. You know, I wasn't ready to let either Reg or Apollo go, but it's not my choice, man. You know, do you feel comfortable expressing why you feel guilty?
Yes, give me a second here.
Of course, take your time, all the time you need, bro. Just know that I'm sending you love. I love you, Ben. I do really love you, brother, and I'm here for you as much as you'll allow me to be. I'm here for you.
So, yeah, I think it's important for everybody to know how. Hopefully, we cut that little last part out there. But no, as I think it's important for everybody to know how my dog died. It's something that I wasn't really aware of. I think everyone knows what torsion or you know your dog's stomach flipping or bloat.
Bloat.
There's a bunch of different terms for it, or roughly the same thing. But
Hold on, before you go on, explain it just in case somebody doesn't know what that is.
yeah, I'm gonna explain it here.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah, it's 1 second here. Yeah, so bloat is when or torsion or when your dog's stomach flips is when basically the ligaments of your dog's stomach, um, your dog's lower and upper intestines are all connected. It's like a maze. It looks like it's wrapped in your dog's stomach basically without a plan, but it's a very specific plan. Everything's designed the way it is, and it's attacked into the stomach against the walls of the muscle. I'm gonna mess this up to some degree, but basically the intestines are all stuck where they're supposed to be, and there's little pieces of ligament, let's
Ligament.
say, holding everything together. Dog can get it from eating food and exercising, so like running around, playing, something, exerting itself after a meal. Typically, like what I've known my whole life is that dogs get it, after eating food, and you want to wait 45 minutes or an hour plus to before you exercise your dog, so it doesn't get torsion or bloat. Another way a dog can get it is if they eat a mass of something. So let's say a dog, you left a food container out, a dog ate 5 pounds of food, a dog can get it. There's a mass coming into the intestines, the ligament can't support that weight, and it
Tears or
drops
rips.
it, tears, and all of a sudden, basically, torsion doesn't matter if it's through exercise, where it, because of the exercise and the food and intestines, allows it to fall off, ligament deattaches, it kinks up the hose, and in both cases, it can cause bloat. Another way a dog can get it too is if they can get like a sock or a shirt or something like that, and it goes through a little bit and it gets stuck one way, and and it's trying to pull it in, and dog can get it from eating something of a foreign object. Let's just say they
Yeah.
can get it too. Well, something I didn't know is that, well, I'd known that big chested dogs are more prone to it, so I just took those things that I knew more serious. But something I didn't know is that when they get older, the ligaments there just become weaker and weaker and weaker through time. And Kota's had eaten a lot of food before. He's had forms of bloat where we didn't require surgery, where he just ate too much food or got into something. And it was nothing
Good to
ever
know that.
bad. And um, well, what ended up happening was I was going to a concert. Before the concert, I had four dogs, and me and my wife were thinking that we should feed the dogs before the concert. And deep down, instinctually, I was like, I knew it. We shouldn't, and I didn't know why specifically. Just because I didn't really know. No one ever told me about that last form of torsion. But I fed my dogs, and as Coda got older, he really liked food, and we were going to be gone from like 5 to midnight. It was going to be a long time. I was like, we'll just feed him now, so we don't have to feed him at midnight, so he doesn't have to wait. Well, we went to the concert, got caught. The concert got canceled. Tornado came through. Got back home, and um, he is having torsion, and you
What
know
does that look like?
what
So that
well,
somebody knows what
well,
it
all it
looks
is, you'll
like.
see your dog, and it's just say your dog is normally this size when you look at it, and it's just a side profile, or not a side profile, but I don't know, lateral
Straight on
profile, and all of a sudden that this a dog that's just say this wide turns this wide.
on their in their stomach area,
Yeah, in his chest, in his
in the
ribs,
chest as well.
or even
Because
his
I've
belly.
never experienced it. I've never
Anytime
seen
your
it.
dog looks larger than it should be, especially by a dramatic size, or
Yeah.
even there's different forms of it. There's precursors too, which we don't need to get into right now. I don't think, but
Well,
um,
if you know them, let them know. Let us know because that way maybe
yeah,
it prevents somebody from actually having an accident. You know.
I don't know all the precursors. I could tell you how
Okay.
to have a dog not get into something, or A, B, or
Yeah.
C, but or not exercise your dog. But yeah, I think they'll start to throw up. I think they'll start to drool. They may start to groan and moan, and then just sheerly by the size of the dog getting bigger and bigger. Um, maybe trying to throw up and can't throw up is another sign or symptom. Um,
Mm-hmm. Dry
um,
heaving.
yeah, there's dry heaving, it's foaming of the mouth, excessive drooling. The gums will start to change colors, but yeah, we were only gone for 2.5 hours. And what ended up happening is that we just fed him his meal, and maybe he was chasing the cat, maybe he got playful with the cat because we leave him out of the kennel. Um, I'm not really sure. I just think that him being old and he ate that food, and I just, from my knowledge, I could be wrong by this, is that big old chested dogs will just get torsion one day.
Hmm.
They'll just get it as they get older.
He might not have been chasing the cat, is what you're saying. It just
No, yeah,
may
he
have
just
been
ate his food, and
just the tendon was
the
maybe torn
guilt
already
was,
and just ripped completely at
yeah,
that point or something.
the guilt is going to the concert. The guilt
So
is
hold on a second though.
that's just
You shouldn't feel the guilt because
I know you shouldn't, but that's just where it is. That's just how the human brain is.
I know,
Whether you want to or not, and I accept it. But you'll I think like times like now I accept it, but there's just times that you still, you know, it's
I know.
so easy to say woulda, shoulda, coulda, but it's just not a great way to live in the past and the decisions we made, and But basically, I came back home, and if you don't want to hear this, I would just skip along. But we came back home, and he was standing up on all fours, head against the ground, standing because he couldn't lay down because he's so fucking uncomfortable and just drooling. And he was not cognizant. He wasn't aware of us walking in. There's just puke and stuff on the floor, and he was just so swollen. And I picked him up and brought him, picked him up, put him in the truck, and uh, fucking went 90 miles per hour to a medical center that was ended up being closed, or they can't do surgery, and then we rushed him there. So there's a lot of panic involved, and we were calm. We were very calm around the dog, but in your brain, you're
spinning.
you're remaining calm on the exterior, but my inside my brain is. And my wife was in the back seat with him, and she was telling us everything else. He was telling me how he was feeling, and he ended up dying having surgery. They went down to the vet, and he, yeah, he died in the operating table, and but sad, and went through that, and then we started celebrating. Not celebrating. We are celebrating his life, but looking through his pictures, and all of a sudden we realized we just celebrated his 12th birthday 2 days prior. And we realized that the dog was 13, that he wasn't 12, and the thought of us getting a whole extra year, and the dog actually being 13 was crazy,
It was a gift.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I
He's
started
still
thinking
here with
about it.
you,
I
but
was like, I've been training dogs for 12 years. I was like, Kota, I think I avoided him being 13 in my mind.
yeah. I mean,
I think I
it's
avoided
tough,
it.
dude. It's tough to watch our loved ones get older and their health start to fail, whether human or dogs.
That's what it turns into. That's what the whole damn thing with the dog now is that I looked at my own watch. I'm like, damn, dude. I'm like, I was so young when I got that dog. I was, I think I was 22 years old or 21 years old, and I see my parents getting older. I see life going by, and I told everyone that when that dog died, I feel like I took ayahuasca. I feel like I got ripped in half, and part of me died. And not, I don't want to keep going on here, but my big mantra was I don't get to see him in front of me, but how crazy it is to feel him in me and around me.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
I know that when Regina passed, there was this like an overwhelming calmness that kind of I absorbed after she passed. And for at least a week afterwards, I was just so calm. And I still have her calmness in me. And especially when I'm working with a dog, I feel like I summon her to if a dog is making me a little frustrated or keeps doing something that I'm trying to help it not to do. I feel Reg's presence, and she gives me patience and calmness and kindness. And
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, no, she literally, I swear to God, when she passed, I felt her energy enter my body. And that's why I'm saying I became, and I'm already a pretty calm guy. I think Carly would agree because she's wild, and I'm the anchor, and I'm the person, she's the kite flying around, right? And I'm just holding her so she can do all the fun stuff she wants to do, but I'm the anchor in a sense. I don't go up into the sky and do all that stuff. I'm just cool, calm, collective for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I have moments where I am completely not cool, calm, or collected, but
The kite.
the majority of the time, I would say I'm more of a calm person than most. And I felt even calmer after Reg entered me in that way. It was a spiritual moment, really. It
Yeah,
was something
I'm.
bigger than myself am I a part of, you
That's
know?
crazy. Yeah, that's how I went through that, but I wasn't. I really wasn't ready. Um,
I don't think
yeah,
you
but
are right now.
the in and around me part it just shakes me to the earth. That I can feel that dog in me, and I can see it around me. And it's not people like I don't see. I don't see like birds and Caesar sees crickets and shit. I don't. I
Like
don't.
Art sees the cardinal.
Yeah, I don't see it like that. I just see what I created with them, and
Mm-hmm.
then the people and how they walk. Because I started all of it with Kota right at the beginning of being super disciplined with them, and those same disciplines that I held myself to, that I held him to, that I held my clients to, is the around me part, and that's
So he's still with you, bro.
it's crazy.
He'll never leave you because those lessons he taught you are going to teach other dogs. So let me say a little quick story. Because I would go through these moments of loss before I even felt them. So like I said, I created this mantra. I would I would look over Regina way before she was going to die, but I knew someday she was going to die. So that's why I came up with the, one day this flesh will pass and everything. And then one day I was at the ranch, and I just had to ask Caesar, how do you do it? How do you know that you're going to live longer than this dog? I mean, God willing that, you don't get a car accident or heart attack or something, but 99% of the chances are you're going to outlive this dog. How do you not just crumble, like, and, he started with a joke because, the way he likes to, basically make you kind of knock you off a little bit so that you feel a little lightheaded. He goes, "You want something that's going to last a long time? Get a tortoise. Those things last 130 years." You know what I mean? He's all. I go, "Well, I don't want a tortoise." I go, "How do you do it with the dogs?" And he goes, "Well, the thing is I look at them as teachers, and every dog has taught me something, and so that lesson is being passed on to other dogs." And so that's why I'm saying it was a wise thing. And also, another thing he says constantly is never work against Mother Nature. And fighting, having this grief, getting stuck in the mire and the muck, you're working against Mother Nature. um so it's like, once you realize, it's like, I can't, I am working against Mother Nature. Once you are aware of it, you can start to try to do something about it so that you're not sitting in this repetitive loop of I could have, should have, would have, or the guilt or the shame, or it's like everything. It was a gift. Every moment with that dog was a gift. And so, and sometimes gifts run out. Like sometimes you have to throw away a shirt that you really love because it's all holy, or you know what I mean? It's time. It's time to move on to something else, and not to forget the times you had, but to remember them, and to use those as stepping stones for other dogs, and beneficial things. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's I thoroughly know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I know
definitely
you
know what
do,
you mean.
brother.
It's yeah. There's as that process of grief goes through your head too. You kind of get thoughts of I don't know. I know why people stop getting dogs.
You you don't know, or you do
I
know?
do know why people stop
Yeah,
getting dogs.
yeah.
They don't want to
Well,
deal with the heartache.
I'll
And
say this, man. I didn't get one right after Regina, and all I have now is right here, Lena. She's kind of asleep, and then I have Monet over there. She's she's a client's dog, but her parents are gone like 6 months out of the year, so we call her fractional ownership. But yeah, my OG pack that changed my life is gone, bro. I have nobody, zero. There's no legacy anymore. I mean, Lena is now the legacy because she lived with them, and but my goal was have a dog, have Regina, then get another dog so that if Regina passes, then I have Apollo to pass along the line, and then before Apollo passes, I'm going to get another dog so that legacy is continued. And Apollo just passed too quick after Regina's passing, and I wasn't through the grief yet. I'm still not through the grief. When Carly told me that she was visited by Reg with the psychic, I was just bawling tears of like joy and sadness and everything, So it's okay. It's okay to feel the grief. It's okay. It's just not okay to allow yourself to feel super guilty because you did everything you could, and you
yeah,
didn't
I,
you
I
didn't do
think
anything wrong, my friend.
I think the best way I got through it though was being around my dogs to kind of help me. I would say stay accountable to move forward. Um, I think the hard things afterwards were finding joy. I remember I remember it was like 9 days after he passed. I didn't listen to music. We were watching movies. We I think it took me like 9 days to go fishing is when I realized that fishing is one of my forms of spirituality, as I call it, and it's brings me a lot of joy. And but I think so much joy got ripped out so quickly. It just took so long to find joy again, and then yeah, I got
Why do
derailed.
you think fishing is a form of spirituality for you?
It's something that is obtainable, and the only reason you can't obtain the fish is because of a lack of effort or knowledge.
Okay. So that's
Yeah,
spiritual to you.
yeah. So it's
Is
just
it
something that's
spiritual because you're connecting in with nature, or
oh
is
yeah,
it
you're in
spiritual?
nature. You're doing something that's been done since the beginning of human, in my opinion,
Yeah.
foraging or hunting and fishing is something that like my mom's uncle, I believe is who it was a fishing guide in Canada, and yeah, I just think fishing is part of who I am. What makes me me, you know. So it's like helping people, and fishing are or dogs or animals. They all just go hand in hand. It's all goes hand in hand.
It's connecting that nature to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like a spiritual. Oh, Monet is up here too. Uh, for me, spirituality is being connected to something bigger than yourself. Whether that's the universe, whether that's God, whether that's nature, whether that's source, um, it's all the same. So, I believe that it's very a spiritual thing to reconnect with nature, go fishing, go out hiking, whatever, uh, the beach, the desert,
I just think it's that self
stargazing.
identity. You know what makes you you. And I think
Yeah,
it goes back to what you're saying though, is that it's doing so. How do you say it's doing something else? It's doing something bigger than yourself. Is that what you said?
connecting to something bigger than yourself.
Connecting to something bigger than yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is what spirituality
Even
is.
golfing or any sport, I guess, really could be that. You know.
You're when you're in the zone or whatever, like whether you're playing basketball, golf, or whatever, answering questions, or you find this flow that is godlike in a sense, or extra spiritual. It's just you tap into that source energy in a sense, um, and that to me is spiritual. And yeah, I believe that you need to go fishing. I believe that I need to walk dogs. I believe I need to go to the beach more. I need to take my socks and shoes off and put my feet in wet sand. That is to me. Um, I love the beach. I don't necessarily love the ocean, being deep in the ocean, or I like to be right where the land and
Coastal.
water meet. The coast. That to me is that is the ultimate. That's my dream. Is I'm gonna have a house, and there will be no other obstruction between my backyard and the water. I will
Yeah.
have sand and water, and that's the goal, and it's gonna happen. I don't know how, but I already know it's gonna happen, and I just have the faith.
Um, I know I would love to go to the. I'd love to drive the whole PCH. Have you drove the whole PCH, Bobby?
I drove all the way up to San Francisco, but it doesn't all go up the one. But
It doesn't go all the
I
way.
it goes for a long time, but it ends up cutting in at a certain point. Um, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I did drive up the coast. And there's a part of the 5 freeway which is right by my house. If you go more south, you're basically next to San Diego. You're by the water the entire time as well. So I do like to do that. But the PCH, the one freeway is the one you're talking about, and it's awesome. It's a great ride. It's a
Dude,
great ride just to go, just cruise and not go on a long adventure, but just go up PCH for a ride and come back.
you know what's not good for? Buying weed out there. I bought weed in
Yeah,
Wales. That was a
they're more expensive. The closer to the beach cities you get, you will be paying a higher price for anything, including weed. Yes.
that's funny.
Yeah, well, when I get mine, I have friends that give it to me, so I don't even really go to the
Hey,
dispensaries too much.
Dorian took me to the best plug.
Oh, yeah, Dorian will take you to the hood, bro. But in the hood is where you get the deals, bro. You get the deals on the
There
stuff
was
that
no
is
sign.
amazing.
It was like a back of a restaurant you walked into, and it was a guy behind a
Dude, they're
pole
always the
flashing.
shadiest spots, bro. There's like little screen metal doors closed shut up
Hey,
behind some fucking building or something. It's just you got to go up a stairway that's super skinny. Like they're all shady, bro. They're
hey,
all super
I
shady.
remember right before we left, Dorian cut him a deal. He goes, "Hey, what about a deal for this?" And the guy goes, that sounds good." I was like, "Damn, dude, this is the only way it needs to be done."
You could barter with them, bro. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, you know what we should put up is some of our quinceanera pictures.
Oh, all right. Well, you got to send me some. Every time I ask you to send me some pics, I never end up getting them. So, like, that's why Uncle Mike wasn't put up on that one podcast. I'm like, he's going to be right here. And then I never got him up. So I felt like, oh, no. But I have a couple quinceanera pics. If you can get me a couple, we'll definitely put them right here, right now. That
If not,
was a great time.
if not, it's okay. No, we'll get them to you.
Well, we'll definitely get a couple. That's for sure. I have a couple, so I guarantee you that it's definitely going to happen.
Hey,
Um,
you know what's nice about filming an episode in reverse like this is that we can tell everybody that Todd's episode was a really good episode. I like that.
Todd's episode is fantastic, by the way, and Angela's episode was amazing, by the way, too. It was our last episode with Dorian, was the Angela episode, and boy, that was a good one. And Todd, man, what a dude! I love it. I am super excited for everyone watching now to watch the Todd episode because it was. I felt it was one of our best. I think Angela's was our best. Period.
Nice.
Sorry, Todd. I am gonna say, for some reason, Angela's just was fantastic, and Andre's was really good. Art's was really good. You know, and I think our first episode where you had the breakdown, I
Oh,
think
man, my
was
friend crying. It's probably gonna be an
hey,
episode. It's
dude.
probably gonna be a
You know
great
what?
one too.
It's called being real. And I think that is what connects with human beings is when you're the most real. And I'm kind of almost a little jealous that I haven't really had the moment that where I break down because normally I'm a weepy little crybaby.
You're just a rock for me, Bobby.
I've been so strong on this damn podcast.
I'm proud of you. I'm also kind of sad for you too. You made me right.
I'm proud of myself and sad as well because
We have to look at that.
I don't know what it is. And also when Reg and Apollo passed, I was a fucking rock. As soon as they were done, I cried. But when it went in the moment when I needed to be steady, I was. And I didn't think I would be. I honestly was I'm as surprised as anybody that talking about loss in this episode, I'm surprised I didn't break down more. I felt like I had a moment where I was on the verge, but I'm surprised.
I we
It is what it
cried a little
is.
bit
And
together today, didn't we?
what happened?
We cried a little bit today, didn't we?
I did. I had a moment where I was on the verge. Tears weren't streaming, but I was welling up 100%. And yeah, it's I have no problem crying, dude. I am not the big tough guy that I can't let anybody see me cry. And bro, I'm a human being, and I am an emotional
Okay. I
person.
just want to let you know you're all talk. So I'll let you know you're all talk, and we need to start seeing tears, or no one's gonna believe you, bro. We're gonna have to work on
Hey, okay. Well, whether I'll say this as well. I'm an extremely honest person. I don't like to lie ever. It just doesn't feel right by me. I'd rather tell you the truth and you be mad at me than I'm going to sit here and lie about something.
That is
So,
the best manipulator will say.
okay. Okay. Well, either a true manipulator or a true person that doesn't lie will both tell you the same thing. And I
Hey,
I don't mind being a crier, but
we
I
we
do
should
mind being a liar.
we should tell we should tell everybody that the sign behind you, we're gonna actually put it up for sale, and we're gonna start an auction on that.
So that we
It,
can get a new sign with just our
yeah,
dogs up there.
yeah.
But
And,
I don't even I would need to get another dog, I think, or put Lena. Lena would be my. Or am I going to just keep Apollo? And we're going to keep Apollo and Kota, or are you going to put Zeke up?
I don't know, but we are
Yeah.
willing to sell that though. So if you have an offer or a bid,
Oh well, the proceeds first will go to Dorian's funds, and then anything extra,
yeah,
Ben and I will split. But
I like I
but
like that.
Dorian will have to pay him for the sign first and foremost.
No,
But
I thought he gave it to us as a gift.
I think either Yoshiko would buy it from us because she's our like her and Javier from Everyday Pack Leaders, I believe, are our biggest fans. And
I
shout out
talked
to
to
them,
Javier the
dude.
other day.
Javier came to my house today. He
Oh,
brought
did
a
he?
dog here that he wanted to work with, and yeah, we helped his nervous little golden doodle. We have all kinds of doodles at my house right now, Bernedoodles and
Easy
golden
place for him.
doodles. Oh, he took it to another friend of his that I don't think wasn't advocating for the dog properly. So he was like, I don't think I want to go back there, but do you think I could bring her to your house? And I'm like, bro, of course. And we had a great session. Like he basically every dog went up and uh, socialized with the dog that was fearful, and if it was too much, we asked that dog to give space, and it was great. It went really well.
Easy
But yeah,
peasy.
shout out to Javier and Yoshiko for being such great fans and always watching and commenting, and much love to them. You're going to say something, Ben? I'm sorry I
Nice
interrupted you.
one. Love. You know.
Much love. Yeah. And anybody who watches and thank you for spending some time with us. We really want to make the best podcast we can, and hopefully we'll continue to make something that you guys enjoy.
Yeah. So make sure you message Dorian and guilt him. I'm joking.
No, don't do that. We love Dorian. Nothing but love for Dorian, and hope only success in future business endeavors. And you did mention on one of the podcasts that we need to create our own seminar, kind of like our own TCW, right? And so in November, we're having another pause in progress, and you and Dorian are both going to be there to assist and to train some owners. So anybody watching this that wants to be connected with the three of us, hit me up. We'll get you into our seminar, into our TCW, our PIP, pause in progress, and we're gonna get Ben one too. Ben needs to have his own. Oh Monet, Ben's gonna have his own too, and I am gonna help Ben with his. Oh Monet, you're breaking the rules. Oh Monet.
He's trying to be polite. Look at her.
She is the best. She
She's
really is just
just
an
in my room.
amazing girl. Come here, my Monet. Monet. So yeah, do you have anything else you want to add? I think we're almost at an
Nope.
hour, if not a little bit over. All right, Benjamin. I love you. I'll talk to you later,
Love you
brother.
too. Take care.